Happy Friday, my friends! It's time for our word problem. So go ahead and set up your problem and we'll get started. So today my friend Violet made 12 cards on Monday and 12 cards on Tuesday. How many cards did she make altogether? So this is part one of our word problem today. We're going to do two parts today. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do cubs. And I'm going to go ahead and circle the 12 and the 12. Okay, so those are our numbers. We can cross off the C. Did you happen to see the number or the word that's going to help us figure out what our... I can't talk this morning. Part two of our word problem. So we just left Violet and she had 24 cards that she made. Now let's take a look at what happened. Violet gave 6 of her friends cards. How many cards does she have left? Okay, so again, we're going to do cubs, if my pen will work. There we go. Now, we're going to circle the 6. And if the 24 were up here, we would circle that as well. But you have to remember that as part of your answer, okay? So we're going to cross off the C. What word do you see? Good, I hope you see the word left. That's going to help us to understand that we're subtracting. Because think about it. She had a total of 24 cards. We're taking 6 of those out. So we're taking one part out, which leaves us the other part. When we start with a total and take a part out, that means we're subtracting. We're going to then box the question. And then we can go ahead and get started. So we started with 24. So I'm going to draw our 24 again. Here's our 24. Now, here's the tricky part. I need to take 6 away. How can I do that if I only have 4 here? Does anyone know? Do you remember? What we need to do is we need to now take this 10, and instead of making it a 10 stick, we actually need to trade it in and make it 10 ones. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn this into 10 ones. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's 10 ones. Now, here's my question. Can I now take 6 away? Yes, I can. Watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That leaves me with 1 10, and now I have 8 ones. So my total is 18. So we can say Violet had 18 left. Now, let's see if this makes sense by doing our number bond, okay? We know she had 24 cards. We know that she gave her friends 6 of them. So we're trying to figure out how many she has left. So in this case, I'm asking you, can we take 24 and count backwards 6? Absolutely we can. Let's do that. So 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18. Look at that. We landed on 18 again. And it matches up above. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do our number sentence. Let's look at our picture. We started with 24. We took 6 of them out, and we were left with 18. And we're going to go ahead and put that in the middle. And then our final thing we need to do is make a statement. So we're going to say Violet has 18 left. And there's the end of your two-part problem. So see how that works? So you have to remember that when you're given a two-part problem, you have to solve the first thing to be able to do the second part of it. So hold on, we're going to do our next part of our video. We've been looking at a lot of shapes over the past couple of days. We've been looking at 2-dimensional shapes, which are pretty flat shapes, or 3-dimensional shapes, which kind of pop out at you. So today what we're going to do is we're going to actually go back to our 2-dimensional shapes, but we're going to see if we can see shapes within shapes, which sounds kind of weird, I know. But let me just review with you what the names of our shapes are, and then I'll kind of go into what I'm talking about, okay? So what I've done is I've done my beautiful drawings because you all know that I'm such an artist. So I've given you a triangle. And remember, I said the little prefix tri means 3. So that should help you remind you of 3 sides, okay? We have the square, the rectangle, hexagon, trapezoid, and rhombus. Now, a lot of times you're going to look at the rhombus and go, that's a diamond. Remember, the first grade word is rhombus, not a diamond. The other thing I want you to remember is the square is actually a special kind of rectangle, remember? So I want you to remember that as well. Now, I want to take a look at the hexagon, okay? So if I take a look at this hexagon here, what happens if I do this? What do you notice? Do you notice that I now have two trapezoids within the hexagon? Look at that. I have one here and I have one here. Now, what happens if I do this? What do you notice? I still have a hexagon, right? But what's my hexagon made up of now? I see triangles. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 triangles. So what I did was I have shapes within my big shape. Let's take a look at this. What if I did this? What did I just do to my rectangle? That's right, I just turned it into two squares, didn't I? I could even do this. And now I have 4 squares. So you can actually turn your shapes into different smaller shapes just by drawing lines, right? Now, I want to take a look down here. So again, I have my trapezoid. I can do this, and I can do this. So now my trapezoid has 3 triangles. What about this? Now I'm going to redraw this because that was not the best drawing in the world. So let's look at our rhombus. That's a little better. What happens if I do this? I can make it into 2 triangles, couldn't I? That's kind of what you're going to be doing with your homework for today. Your homework for today wants you to be able to see a big object. How'd you like that? I caught that pretty good. A big shape, and then it wants you to be able to look inside of it and see if you can do other shapes. And let me show you what I mean. I have lesson 4 today, okay? And what it wants you to do is it says use pattern blocks. Now, obviously, we don't have pattern blocks, okay? So what we're going to do is we're just going to draw it. It says use 3 triangles to make a trapezoid. So basically what I want you to do is I want you to draw 3 triangles connected so it makes a trapezoid. So it's going to be looking for something similar to this, okay? So you need to draw yourself. The best thing to do is to draw the trapezoid and then go ahead and draw your lines in between. Same thing here. Use 4 squares to make 1 large square. Use 6 triangles to make a hexagon. Hint, hint. And use 1 trapezoid, 1 rhombus, and 1 triangle to make a hexagon. So what it wants you to do is really think outside the box, and it wants you to see if you can put those together to make your hexagon. Now, here's the challenge I have for you today. Number 6 is the tricky one. It says, how many squares do you see in this rectangle? Now, you have to think beyond counting all these little squares. That's not the answer. I'm going to tell you that right now. That's not the answer. I want you to really think about it. And what we're going to do tomorrow is I'm actually going to be doing this problem with you so you can check your answer. But I'm going to tell you it's tricky and it really requires you to think. And you really have to look at this. Look at the shape and look at it in different ways. Okay? So I really want you to do this today. And then tomorrow I'm going to do this with you. And we're going to see how many squares we can actually find. Now, I was talking with some teacher friends of mine last night, and they had some really great suggestions, and I wanted to pass these suggestions on to you. So, find some things around the house that you can make into shapes. So, like we're asking you to break these regular shapes into smaller, different shapes. Why couldn't you take some things you have in your house? Maybe cut some pieces of yarn if you have yarn or string. What about long pasta? Could you break long pasta up to make different shapes? Anything you can find around the house to make shapes and then break shapes into little shapes. I'd be curious to see what you could come up with. So if you can come up with some great creations, send me your pictures. I'd love to see them, and then I can share them on our videos to give everyone some ideas. So if you have any problems with this, let me know. But tomorrow, we're going to come up with some answers to that problem number 6. Good luck. I hope you can get it, but my guess is I don't think anyone's going to get all the squares that you can come up with.